Good morning, everyone. This is Black Spring with Autumn on your Monday, June 30th. It is the very last day in the month, and this is just a check-in, and it's almost more or less a preview, if you will, for potentially later today. All right. Good morning. Good morning. Once again, this is Black Spring with Autumn on your Monday, June 30th, 2025. So I'm just checking in. I just want to say thank you guys so much for tuning in. If you were able to join on yesterday, I really appreciate you. And I want to thank you for taking the time and just, sharing your own wisdom and your own expertise where available. So today I am actually the aim or the objective for today will be, we will take a look at the BBB. Yeah, BBB. And, we kind of laughed about it yesterday a little bit about, we look at this, one party uses BBB, and the other party uses BBB. And they do these things, because they know I think they're all trained in the same. They're trained. I mean, I always refer to the days of Rome. Many of the, whether you were, whatever your class was, like, I guess in that time of ancient Rome, I think many people were already familiar with rhetoric and its importance and the utilization of it, and, they scheming and squabbling, but it's always sugar coated. It's always, oh, make a choice between emperor or senate at that particular time. And then now to me, it's not that much different. Whether you want to have a go team red or go team blue, because there's a duality here. To me, there's a duality, there's a mirroring, and history repeats itself, to say the least. So when I make those references, I'm making them based on the parallels and also the destruction and just the pendulum swinging back and forth. So today I'm going to come on screen here for a moment, if I may. Hope you guys are doing well out there. Let's see. I don't know. Would we check our status today? We talked a little bit about the CANCER yesterday. So I'm not sure if we'll go back into that, but we'll see. So I'll come on screen here just for a second. So I hope you guys are doing well out there. This is Black Spring with Autumn. If by any stretch you are unfamiliar with this channel or with the content here, if it would be, it's upon you if you would like to to go into the archives, if you will, to see what's been discussed here in the past and what but I always encourage you, do your own research first. Do your own research first. And, and don't just come here and don't just be a sponge. You have to go in and, see it for yourself so that it's yours, so that you see it for yourself, you own it, and it's yours. Okay. So thank you again for that. So I'll just tell you, I kind of want to give you a little brief on what I want to discuss. I'm only going to pick probably about 3 points in which to explore on this BBB. Okay. Because this document, I guess, it's been whatever, it's 940 plus pages, which is typically, they always have these cumbersome bills in which not even the party themselves or the participants of the party even they don't even, engaging with their own text, but, and then of course they don't expect the American people to engage in that either. Yeah, Freedom's March is here. How are you? So we're gonna dig in here just a little bit today. Like I said, I'm gonna tell you, I'm very the fact that they have so many AI is really, you can, as a matter of fact, if you don't want to read, these bills have, I mean, they've armed these bills, they've provided tools in AI for it to be read to you. I don't know whether you need text to speech, they're accommodating. They probably want to say, oh, we're accommodating people by providing AI when it comes to the HR bill. Because there's about 3 points that I'm going to pull out of it. And of course, which to me, it's looking more like, I'm going to say I'll give you my overall synopsis of what I can see so far, just within reading, just an ounce of the what's there. From what I can see, it looks like the states are going to be more responsible for, dare I say, subsidizing. It's going to be, I'm not going to draw it down. I'm not going to tell you by percentage. We'll look at specific lines of it, but it looks like, to me, it's almost looking more like insurance. The government is serving as more of an insurance policy, if you will, and insurance is not my domain of competence either. So let's just be clear about that. But it's looking more like the states are going to you're going to pick up the cost on a lot of these programs. And yeah, your state's going to pick up the cost. And then I don't know what happens if your state does not, but I'm just giving you that's kind of at a glance. I think that's the outcome. I think that's what the outcome is going to be. Okay. Administrative cost. I don't know. And then of course, because the media and the newspapers, they want to sell papers. They want to get hits, of course, online. They want to tell you what could, should, blah, blah, blah. Well, why would you do that when you can go and look at it for yourself? If you need accommodations, there is good old AI there to save the day. But that does not mean you're absolved of, that doesn't mean that language doesn't matter. Shout out to TDOA. Again, to me, it's a wonderful thing when we understand that words matter. When we understand etymology, we understand word analysis, when we understand context, when we understand that being able to, the goal of being literate is to literally be able to not only read, but to be able to manipulate any piece of writing, speech, something that you listen to, or something that you get, to be able to manipulate, to manage that manipulation, and to know, where it could go in the language. But but like I said, reading is not fundamental anymore, because they give you AI, or people get their kids hooked on these devices, and then all of a sudden it's like the brain, it just shuts off. I mean, and it does. It typically, it just kind of robs people of working this muscle. It does. And I tell people all the time, one of the most cost-effective things that you can do, have your kids read. Have your kids read all different types of books. And sometimes it's reading that book or that genre that we're not typically, it may not always be about entertainment. It may be about, you want to learn something. And sometimes learning something will actually end up leading you to something that you would, not normally engage in. Okay, enough of that. But I'm just saying, so that's what we're going to kind of get into, is I want to look at specific parts of the bill. And in no shape, fashion, or form are you going to see me go through 940 pages, not PDF, not text to speech, not I'm not going to translate these things, but I'm just saying that it's out there. Is it something you're going to go over with your coffee? I don't know. Maybe I don't have my coffee ready right now, But I've already, but we'll look at it. We'll look at it. So I'm just trying to figure out, it may be in a few hours, maybe in a few hours. I would be doing it around like within 30 minutes, but I have something else I need to push away. I need to straighten some other things out. But yes, we are going to look at the BBB. So, and I just right away, I mean, the American mind is, to me, very fickle. And, but we tend to accept BBB from one party to another. It just depends on how they spin it, but there's always, and you better believe that they say, oh, well, they're reaching across the aisle, but you better believe that there are some things in there that you're probably not going to agree with. The fact that they're able to, that this thing is going up for a vote, it means somebody got something that they wanted. Somebody on that other side of the aisle got something that they wanted. So I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, you're about to find all these wonderful ways to save money. You're not, it's not going to be what was it? The whole Doge kind of thing. It's not, I don't know. It's not going to be like that at all. As a matter of fact, I'll probably talk a little bit about Musk, and I don't want to get into too much of what I want to talk about later, because, everybody that's screaming bloody murder, or, it's because, they're not getting something that's going to benefit them. But it's interesting because we'll talk about it. But good morning again to Freedom's March, as well as Joseph Francis Burton. He says, I usually just search through these bills for stuff that I'm interested in with control. CTRLF. Gotcha. Well, and then, and if that's one way to do it. That's certainly one way to go into it. But I don't know, around here, I typically do a little bit of heavy lifting. I will tell you, I had to do a bit of a brain break after several months of, I probably listened, watched, and observed most of KJP. That is the former press secretary, Karine Jean-Pierre. I listened to most of her her pressers, okay? Because I'm going to tell you, it was not, to me, I don't, it was more like deflect. And but then the last thing I heard was that she's considering herself an independent now. So she's an independent now, and says, oh, I don't think Americans should be, they should limit themselves, and this is me paraphrasing. I think that her quote went something like, she didn't think people should be relegated to one party. And of course, but then that wasn't her position. To me, her demeanor was very haughty and very, very narc-like the entire time. But here again, I'm just giving you a little bit of I'm just trying to let you know, we're going to talk about, I'm probably going to go in at about 3 points. And one of these points, maybe I'll throw in some TikTok people, some people online, because food stamps is a big TikTok buzz. Or you see online, you might see people showing up online. Oh, I get you guys, you're just mad because I get $3,000 in food stamps and you can't afford the lifestyle that I lead, and showing you their bag that they bought at some department store. So I think it'll be relevant. I think what I'm going to discuss, or what we're going to explore in maybe the 3 points, and at least 2 to 3 points, will be relevant to, I'm sure it'll be relevant to, to all classes of people, because I do think that there's a class war that they want you to avoid, and they want you to see the other side. So I appreciate you guys so much for tuning in. And yesterday we did talk about that the CANCER, that America is the capital of the world of that. But I've been saying that for a long time. I just think, to me, medicine, your health is for sale. Your health is for profit. And of course, I mean, how much great health do we have? How much promotion of diet and exercise? In none of those sources yesterday did you see them really promoting it. You know, they talked about, you know, they blamed diet and exercise, but you had a couple of sources. Yeah, of course, the American Cancer Society, their stats, they were a part of the sourcing. And then the World, there was another source, the World Foundation of Cancer. Those were the two sources. Those were the two sources that were cited in that particular article from that was from the Daily Mail UK. Okay, so that's where that came from. But we won't go back into that. I just really appreciate you guys. I'm going to tell you, I'm probably going to change some things. And I'm also going to have there's another channel that is going to be, I'll tell you, there will be another channel in which it could be, you know, if you're into literature and that kind of a bit, and if you're an author on here yourself, you very well could get, you know, a shout out from me. There's one person in here in particular that comes to mind, and I think he knows who I'm talking about. And so we probably would very well feature that book. You know, maybe that'll be a perk or something. But yeah, so there's going to be another, and I'm coming up with the concept and all, and because I have a summer list that I read anyway. You got to have a list. Whether it's reading, whether it's cooking, whatever it is, you got to have a list in life. You got to have that. So, you know, I'm just saying, you know, make sure you have a list. So we'll get into that, and yeah, just check in. All right, guys. So it's been a whopping 17 minutes and 53 seconds, and I anticipate I'll be back here, I'd say by lunchtime, before lunchtime, either on CST, EST. So that's Central Standard Time, or it could be Eastern Standard Time. Right about now on the West Coast, it is a whopping 5:42 in the AM. So even by that time, you know, if you're on that end, you may catch up at that point. But of course, in replay. So I'll see you guys back in a few hours, and we will discuss at least 2 to 3 points, 2 to 3 targets. Let's target 2 to 3 points from the BBB. All right, guys. All right. I will look forward to seeing you later. And like I said, probably going to change some things. I'm probably going to change. So if you see, I'm not going to change the name of the channel here. It's just that some of the intros and things like that are probably going to change. I need to update some things. And yeah, I appreciate you guys so much. So let me know what you think in the comment section. And I will see you later. But first, before I do that, let me just run this really quick. Probably start doing more. I'm going to try to do this channel. I'm going to try to re-engage and you know, get the engagement on this channel going again. Is probably what I'm going to do. And we'll see what happens. I mean, to me, do I expect anything from the YouTube partnerships and all of that? Probably not. And of course, you guys have always, as before, you know, if you want to support this channel, you just coming on or hitting a like button, you know, is a pretty, you know, it's pretty low risk. I think it's pretty low risk. And I will do the same at minimum when I go to someone else's channel. Okay, guys. All right. Well, I will see you later. And I'm going to run a couple of things really quickly before I go. But thank you so much. Bye for now.